I've got my notes, my tea, and let's get straight into it. So today I've got for you guys a fun video, and I'm going to be sharing things that I've learned in my 20s so far. Also the things that I wish I knew before getting into this whole season of adulthood and just being a grown-up in my 20s. So I am currently 24, I'm turning 25 next month. Yeah, I'm still in shock. Anyways. And I've just been reflecting and looking back at the 24 years of my life. There's some things that I wish I would have known, you know, before getting into this whole 20s adulting season. So I hope this video is sort of an eye-opener to my younger sisters, younger brothers coming up in this adulting, and I hope it helps someone. I hope it makes somebody smile today, and I hope it just encourages someone and lets someone know that, you know, you're not alone. Adulting, we gotta go through this journey together. Let's get into today's video. So I had to grab my tea for this one because number one on the things that I've learned in my 20s so far is saying no unapologetically. This is a big deal to me because the people closest to me will know that I used to be a people pleaser. Yeah. All my people pleasers, please raise your hand and let me know that I'm not alone. Anytime I think back to my people pleasing days, it really annoys me because I'm like, why? But then obviously going through therapy and growing and everything, you unpack these things and you actually realize that it stems from, you know, childhood and etc, etc. But my biggest tip would be learn to say no unapologetically. Confident people say no to the things that they don't want to do or the things that they don't feel comfortable doing. So take this for example. I'm working a 9 to 5. I've got outside of work commitments. I've got my friends that I need to link up with. I've got YouTube videos that I need to film. And then someone invites me to their birthday. And let's say their birthday party is happening on a Friday. The old Tasha would be like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna make it. And I would go to this party and I'd be so annoyed at myself because I know that the time that I'm spending at this party, I could be spending sleeping. But because of my people-pleasing nature, I didn't have the ability to say no and not feel bad or not feel guilty. So I would say yes and then be somewhere that I don't want to be and I'd just be absolutely miserable. So when I learned to say no unapologetically, listen, I've been saying no ever since. So someone's like, yo Tasha, do you wanna? No. Tasha, are you free on? No. And it's as simple as that, do you know what I mean? Well, in all honesty, being an ex-people pleaser, I understand that it's not as easy as I'm making it sound to say no sometimes, but I will just encourage you to literally dig deep and do it for your future self. Do it for your Friday evening self and say no, because when you're spending your time in bed, chilling, relaxing, unbothered, you will thank yourself later, okay? And I know FOMO is real, the fear of missing out is real, I know. But at the same time, you gotta put yourself first and know that you sacrificing that party or that place that you don't even want to be at in the first place is gonna benefit you in the long term. You're gonna be well rested, you're gonna have your beauty sleep, and you're gonna thank yourself later. Number 2 on the list, other people's opinions don't matter. Let me say it louder for the people in the back. Other people's opinions don't matter, okay? And I want you guys to say it with me because this is so liberating, as well as the previous point that I've just made about learning how to say no unapologetically. When you realize that other people's opinions don't matter, it's such a huge weight lifted off your shoulders. So for example, I've been wanting to start my YouTube channel now for like the past 3 years, ever since I was like 21. But I had such a fear of what other people thought about me and what other people would think about me starting a YouTube channel that I didn't start the YouTube channel until recently in February, when the shackles broke off. The shackles of other people's opinion broke off. And I just felt a freedom and a sense of, I'm looking for a word, a sense of just being unapologetic. And with that came the confidence to start this YouTube channel. And I am so glad that I made that leap, because creating content for me is just such a release, such a happy place for me, and it's a place where I hopefully am adding value to you guys, because it gives me so much joy. I hope that you're receiving something from it too. So knowing that other people's opinions don't matter will literally set you free. And majority of the time, when you're worried about what other people think of you, more time they're not really thinking about you like that. They have their own lives to focus on, so they're not really even thinking about you. I just learned how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So for instance, the YouTube channel, being comfortable with being uncomfortable for a season. As I learn and get better at what I'm doing here, hopefully you guys can see the progress, but getting better at what I'm doing here, it means so much more to me than worrying about what somebody is going to think about the YouTube videos that I'm making. But sometimes the people's opinions that you're most worried about are the people that you really care about, and that can be your inner circle. However, I just release those shackles, release the shackles, because it's so liberating when you just walk in that confidence in knowing that the only opinion that matters is yourself and what God thinks about you. And he already says that you are chosen. He already says that you are a child of the Most High. What does anybody else's opinion matter? So next up is your circle matters. And what I mean by that is, who do you have around you? Who are the closest people to you? Whether that be your friendships, relationships, who you have around you constantly matters, because they are going to feed into you what you think, what you believe about yourself, what you guys are striving towards. My friendship group, we're quite ambitious. We chase after the things that we aspire to have, whether that be financially, whether that be career-wise, whether that be, you know, whatever it is that we're chasing after. We are always there to motivate each other and to make sure that whatever goals that we set for ourselves, we are accountable. We can remind each other that, listen, girl, get up, guy, get up. Keep each other accountable to the goals and the vision that we have for our lives. Let's say, for example, maybe you have 4 friends that are just living life, just reckless. Maybe let's say they're robbing banks. They are just doing criminal activity, okay? It's going to be easier for you to kind of slip into their habits because there's a majority of them doing that thing, whereas it's going to be really hard for you as an individual to just focus on, you know, doing the right thing, doing the good thing. Whereas if you have a group of 5 people and 4 of them, obviously you're the 5th, and 4 of them are ambitious, 4 of them are, you know, just striving to be better day in and day out, it's going to be so much easier for you to gravitate towards doing the right thing and for them to cultivate all of those good characteristics in you in order for you to also run that good race and run your own race to be able to be a better version of yourself. So, of course, those 2 scenarios are not real life examples, but you kind of get what I'm trying to say. You have 4 friends that are doing the wrong thing, you're most likely going to be the 5th. You have 4 friends doing the right thing, striving towards big goals, big dreams, you're most likely going to be the 5th person doing that thing. So your circle matters. This next one is so important, and it's do not be afraid to start over. Career-wise, relationship-wise, starting over a project if you're not happy with, you know, the outcomes. But the moral of the story is do not be afraid to start over. So an example of this is my very first corporate job I got when I was 18, 19, because I didn't go the uni route. I went straight into work in the corporate world as an accounting apprentice. Now, that very first job did not go according to plan. Let's just call it what it is, okay? I got fired, yeah? After a year and 6 months, I got fired. Now, I thought that I was gonna die in that firm. I thought, you know, I had that traditional view of work in which I would be at this job until kingdom come. However, so what I learned from that scenario is I cannot put all my eggs in one basket, because a job at the end of the day does not define me. Where I work or the prestige of a company does not define who I am. It might define, you know, my bank balance to an extent, but it does not define who I am, the core of who I am and where I'm going to go and what I'm going to achieve. That's just a stepping stone, to the next level. In that, I had to pick myself back up and start over from ground zero. And I'm not gonna lie, it was not easy, but I'm here now. As well as that as well, like, let's say take relationships for example. Some people will be stuck in relationships for like 5 years, 10 years, or not wanting to start over simply because of what they know is familiar. But if what you know is hurting you, if what you know is not serving you, then you're actually doing yourself a disservice staying in that situation, as opposed to getting up, getting yourself, you know, together and moving on and starting over. Because you never know. People love to say, oh, the grass is not greener on the other side. But you know what? It's green where you water it. Okay? Let me say it louder for the people in the back. The grass is green where you water it. And if you always look at the glass as half empty, that's what you're gonna get. But if you flip it and you look at it as the glass is half full, then that's what you're gonna get. So do not be afraid to start over. So this next one is to travel. Travel, travel, travel. When you travel, when you experience other people's cultures, you come back with such a different perspective of life. When you travel to different countries and you see how other people live, you have a different appreciation for life and your life, especially if you live in a first world country. So I come from Zimbabwe. That is where I'm originally from. And anytime I travel back home, like, my mind is blown as to how people love life and just live life with so little compared to what we have here in the UK. And every time I come back, my mind is just so renewed and I'm just so grateful for life, because it's an eye-opener, you know? It's a massive eye-opener, and I would encourage everybody to just travel. Now, I know it might not be in everybody's budget to travel, but I just encourage you to take a bus trip to a different neighborhood. See how other people live in that neighborhood, okay? Because even that will give you an appreciation of how other people live. It can even be inspiring to see how other people live. So for example, I know that I live in Manchester, but if I drive maybe 45 minutes in the Cheshire direction, I know that I am bumping into mansions, I am bumping into footballer houses, and I know that when I come home, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna cross my leg, I'm gonna drink my tea and say, okay girl, we gotta get to work, because those people that have made it out there in this world do not have 5 heads. So if they can make it, I can make it. You gotta get out of your comfort zone and travel, see the world. The world is vast. It's beautiful, and there's so much more to life. I would just encourage each and every one of you just to get out there and travel. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and if you did, please give your girl a big thumbs up. Thank you so much for sticking around until the end and watching this video. Let me know down in the comments some of your lessons that you guys are learning or have learned in your 20s so far. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.